Hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah, hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to number 122 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson.
It is.
It sure is indeed. Melissa, I'm about to ask you how you are, but I'm about to also explain why I'm opening like this, because we have a special thing that we're doing today. it's our, I guess it's the second time. Is that the first annual, or is there no such thing as first annual? So this would be like the second annual one.
Okay, this is, I will call the first episode the first annual because we knew we were going to make it annual. And these come as a set. So this is the first annual part 2. And then we're going to have the second annual, and then the second annual part 2, and so on until death.
Oh man, that's definitely not confusing. Yeah, so
it's within the same annum, within the same year. Like, this can't be second annual.
Well, I mean, yeah, so I guess we're getting into semantics then on, like, well, the first one we recorded back in February, so technically doing this now in December doesn't make it annual, but we were late recording that first one.
Right,
so...
yeah, the plan for the future is to have these be one episode, whereas this year it wound up divided into parts. Yeah.
So this is going to be our December
first annual
tradition.
Part B.
Yeah, which is... if I can find it here where we did it at the thing. This is going to be our Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions for 2021.
Yes.
As well as looking back on 2020 and to see who won, who got the closest scores from when we predicted all of the stuff way back at the start of the year. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to be doing this every December, first week in December, and I'm already having a blast. I'm so excited for
We didn't come up with this episode until earlier this year, and then we decided we should do this in December, but now we can't. So we did it the first weekend of February, predicting the movies of 2020. And then we said, we're going to come back first weekend of December, look back on the movies of 2020, look forward to 2021. And the next year, you're only getting one episode that's looking back at 2021 and forward to 2022.
Indeed. You guys can go check out our predictions from 2020 way back on number 82. Go check that one out. From February 10th, 2020. Wow, we were so young then. So
right, what a year to try and begin this plan. And how could we not have? Who would have guessed nobody can go to any movie theaters that aren't a drive-in, like how I got to see Tenet, only the 4th movie I saw in the entire calendar year, whereas I normally would have seen 18 of them.
Yeah, it was, we had no idea what was coming, or we started to know, I think by that point in February, I think maybe 1 or 2 cities in the United States were under curfew, or hey, you should probably wear a mask.
Hey, if you live in one city on the coast, wash your hands more often. Yeah, that was all. Yeah. That was where we were at.
God, and then coronavirus hit and screwed everything up, and here we are. December, and I still think it's March.
Right. I wish there was something we could have done, if there was some error in hubris that we could have corrected.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so we have all of our predictions from last year. What we did basically is predict what we thought the Rotten Tomatoes score would be. You gave yours and I gave mine. We wrote them all down. We're gonna go through all of the movies that came out, and then we're punting some of the ones that didn't come out and are now scheduled to be in 2021. Those are on our list for this next year.
Yeah,
So we'll get
including
into all of that.
there's like a handful of movies that are going to release later this month.
Yeah.
So like any Christmas releases are going to be in the next year.
Indeed. December to December is.
Yep.
But before we do all of that, Melissa, how are you? It's been like 2 weeks since, well, I guess no, it's only been 1 week since we talked on the review show for Irredeemable last week, but our whole podcasting structure thing here got thrown for a loop. So I haven't seen you in a while, it feels like.
Within this context, yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. Yeah, nothing new to... Well, I did only media new things to report on. My personal life is the same.
Right.
Pretty much.
Kind of the same for all of us. Stay at home.
Right. Unless I can divide my life into before I watched The Queen's Gambit and after I watched The Queen's Gambit.
Let's see. 1300 BG. Or no, BQG, I guess.
BQG. You know, the otherwise it would just be before Gambit. And I believe he appeared in comics before I was born.
Oh, man. So what you have a stacked Melissa's Cinema Corner. What have you been up to? What have you been watching?
I did watch all of Queen's Gambit, and I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it. And, like, I had heard from people that it was good, but I hadn't heard from anybody that it made you feel good. And it does, surprisingly.
Interesting.
And so I want to put...
That's what was...
Right?
It seems more intense.
Right, which is what I thought. Looking at this trailer... And the premise of the show, if you haven't seen the trailer on Netflix, is that it's about a young woman in the 1960s. Her mom dies in a car crash. She's in an orphanage. The orphanage is giving the kids tranquilizers that keep them docile. So she's hooked on drugs from the time she's like 9 years old. She's a chess prodigy. She's competing in all these chess tournaments and jet setting around the globe. And she's still hooked on pills and drinking and sleeping with guys, etc., falling apart on a personal level as her career skyrockets. This is what the trailers made it seem like. And all of that does happen. That is all true. But there's a tremendous sweetness to the show. Like, a lot of the characters are pretty nice people. This is maybe the highest ratio of pretty nice people I've seen in the cast of a drama. Like, a lot of the setup of the show is very tragic, and I think it works to balance things out from that point on. Like, this girl's had a lot of sad things happen in her life. She is self-destructive, but she does have good people in her life who support her. Like, she has solid friendships that carry through the series, and the series ends up ending on a very uplifting note emotionally. I won't tell you what actually happens, but I finished that episode and I'm like, I feel good about things. And I didn't think that's how I was going to feel when I started the show.
Birds in the sky. I'm feeling good. That's good. I was not expecting that.
Right. So I want to tell this to people.
Hear.
Like, check out this show. And it's only 7 episodes. It's not that long. And I think it would be a great palate cleanser if you've just finished like a longer, more intense drama series.
Sure. Good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff. Oh man, I don't know if I have much to report on. Like, I finished this show or I watched that thing. I finished Steven Universe. I think I mentioned that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. We're still watching Community with my girlfriend. Still watching Bob's Burgers as well. Still trucking along in my Gundam rewatch. I do have to say that for the first time ever, the original Gundam show is now streaming on Funimation. You can watch it subbed or dubbed. And so, yeah, this is like the first time it's been available to stream anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. So, guys, go check out the original Gundam show.
How old is this?
It's great. It's from 1979. It's wonderful.
Okay.
The animation is terrible, but
Now, is this something that was rare before? Like, has the average Gundam fan seen the show before, and now this is just the first time it's easily accessible through a new streaming platform? Or is it like, oh, this was really hard to get your hands on? You've seen later Gundams. Now you can go back and watch the earlier Gundam.
I mean, you could watch it online on websites that weren't supposed to have it, right? Like it's out there. You can buy it on DVD, I think, but it's Gundam is a kind of franchise where there's so many Gundam shows, and not all of them connect to one another. Not all of them are in the same universe. Some of them do. Some are over here. Some are there. So a lot of people are just like, where do I start? Like, can I just jump in at any one I want, or do I have to go to this one or that one? And so, yeah, with that original one not being available to stream and being like, okay, well, based on what's available, maybe go Iron-Blooded Orphans and do that one, watch that one. But that's not really connected to anything else.
This is a phrase I've never heard.
It's the subtitle of that show. It's Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans.
I don't know much about Gundam, but I've heard the names of most of the shows, and I had not heard of that one.
Yeah, that one is a fantastic one, and that one's much more modern and stuff like that. And so it's a good starting point of hey, do you want a really good Gundam show that is modern and has good animation and stuff? That would be one to check out. But to be honest, start with the original show. The timeline that is created based off of that original show is the best and the most fleshed out.
Okay.
So it's monumental that this is now available. It's like, oh man, this is awesome. This is great. So I'm excited about that. But of course, I'm way farther down in my rewatch. So if this happened 3 months ago, it would have been great. And I could have watched it on Funimation, but no.
Now you have to cycle back.
Anyways, yeah. The only other thing that I will mention before we get to our movie stuff is, Melissa, I just got off one of the most nightmarish phone calls that I've had with my parents ever.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how, but they are so ridiculously bad at technology.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't understand it, how it's that bad. I'll probably tell the full story maybe next week or something, but this was, good God, to get them to just get me on FaceTime and point the camera at the TV. Insane. To have my mom not think that my dad has some secret YouTube account and all this. It's just no, just type in no, you're not making an account. You already have one because he has a Gmail, and Gmail is owned by Google, which also owns it. And
yeah, I understand.
Just hit the button I told you to hit. The one that looks like a home. This one? No, that looks like a gear. Does that look like a house? What house? What houses are you living in? It's wild. I don't understand.
Well, you can build a house that looks like anything, son.
I mean,
I saw a magnifying glass shaped house once.
Ridiculous. More to come on that.
I understand your pain. I've got these older neighbors. I think they're in their late 60s, who I help out with. I run errands for them, and I have walked them through, I think, 15 times how to, on their Blu-ray player, go to the YouTube app, go to the channel for their church, and watch the broadcasted mass service every weekend that they're not going to in person.
Yeah.
I think they only remember for like one day at a time. And then the next day I see them, I have to show them again.
You need to like do some like info sheet of like step by step. Here's how you do. Here's pictures.
She's written it down, so I don't know where the note goes when she asks me to show it to her again.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. Let's get on with our Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions, episode 2, part.
I've got my
2.
director's clapboard.
Go for it.
Action!
Yes, action indeed. Here we are, live on the site of the Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions 2021.
See how the movies are made. Live the movies. Ride the movies. Predict the movies.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So last year...
You could have asked me because I remembered that we did 22.
I could have also just looked at our Google Doc and seen that except for the header that we had 23 things listed there. So 23 minus 1. Good stuff. So yeah, we had 22 movies that we predicted the scores for, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them get postponed. So more than half.
Yep.
Man. What a year it's been. It's been crazy.
No, but 2 of those are Wonder Woman 1984 and Soul, which are coming out on streaming platforms on Christmas Day. So half of the movies are coming out in the calendar year of 2020.
That is correct. But yes, they got postponed to our next cycle.
Yes, yes.
Melissa, how many movies did you actually go to this year?
I got to go to 4 movies. I went to see Doolittle. Doolittle, first movie we were determined to see in this new decade, Jack and I. We saw Doolittle. We saw Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, and Onward. And then I did go to a drive-in and see Tenet. Months later. That's all the movies I saw.
I went to go see one.
What'd you get? Oh, it would have been Birds of Prey. We both saw that one.
Yeah, Birds of Prey. But I can't think of anything else that I went to go see, because that came out in January, right? I think so.
February. I think it was like around
the start of
Valentine's Day.
Well, I know Sonic came out on Valentine's Day.
Right? How could they compete with each other?
Right?
Sonic and Birds of Prey coming out at the same time reminds me of when we're going through the drive-thru and they have to ask my dad, when he orders us Happy Meals, how many girls' toys and how many boys' toys do you want? One of each, please.
Yeah, I think I only went to one. Crazy stuff. Okay, Melissa, speaking of Sonic, that is the first movie that we have to do.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just want to say, so we both predicted numbers. We're not going for a who was closest within X, who higher or lower. It's just who was closest numerically, no matter how far. If one of us is 100 points away and the other one is 99 points away, it doesn't matter. 99 wins in either direction. And I have not looked these up. I don't typically go by Rotten Tomatoes scores in my personal life. I just thought this would be a fun metric by which we could play this game. And as I mentioned on the part A of this episode, it is borrowed lovingly from the Jeff Rubin Show podcast.
There you go. So I predicted 47 for Sonic, and you predicted 22.
Yep.
Rotten Tomatoes score 63.
Wow.
Are we going by the tomato meter or the audience score?
Did we agree on tomato meter earlier?
I don't think we mentioned it, to be honest.
Okay, so here's the thing. Wouldn't the tomato meter be more fixed Like that's fixed after a certain point, after all the critics review the thing, but the audience score is going to continue to fluctuate throughout time.
As more people,
Do you want to do the critics score then?
Let's do the tomato meter. Okay. Let's go with that one. I mean, I win no matter what for this one because they're both above 47. So, Sonic got a 63%. So, point to me.
That is good to hear. I did see the Sonic movie, and it is pretty solid. It's a fun family action adventure movie.
Here you go. Okay.
Are you going to update the spreadsheet, or do you want me to do it?
I'm updating the spreadsheet. Do we want to do a column for what the actual score was?
Yeah. Just okay, I'd like to look at all of these at the end.
Yeah. Do you want to just in that next column there in column D? 63. Do you want to just write in the actual scores? Yeah.
63.
Well, if you do that stuff, then I will keep track of who gets the points.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Okay, so next up, you got The Invisible Man 2020. This one looked interesting, but again, it was one of those ones that right there, just happened right at the start of all of this stuff.
I think it was in the theaters for 3 weeks. Yeah.
So you predicted a 79. I predicted a 62. Melissa, you get the point. It got a 91.
Oh, way to go. These are all more positive than I thought. I kind of lowballed everything.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. I was not expecting that one to be that good. But yeah, I had heard decent things. It got an 88 for the audience score. So it's generally well liked.
Nice. I haven't checked that one out yet.
Okay. Next up is Onward. Oops.
Yep. And I predicted a 93 and you predicted a 95. Very close race.
Okay, the tomato meter says 88.
Point to me.
Yeah.
I did see Onward. Onward's pretty charming. I like the world building of it a lot. And
I haven't seen that one.
Good voice performances from those two Chris's.
Yeah.
A Chris and a Tom. Nope, two Peters. Two Peters is what I meant to say. You got a Chris Peter and a Tom Peter. And if you don't know the MCU, I've just said a nonsense pile.
Yes. What are
I love Chris
words?
Peter. I love Tom Peter.
There you go.
These are my two sons, Onward, Chris Peter, Tom Peter. Both
Onward got in 88. You want to write that one down?
I am writing it down. I've got them.
Perfect. Next up, we got Bloodshot. Let's see here. This was based off the Valiant comics. We've covered a couple of those on the review show. Go check it out. Oh man, the tomato meter says 30.
I had guessed 40 and you had guessed 78.
I was expecting that to be a lot better. Man, I'm bummed.
Did you end up seeing Bloodshot?
I haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen it yet, but I have heard 2 different movie podcasts recap it to me. And it sounds interesting. I'd give it a shot
interesting
sometime.
Premise. I mean, maybe one day we'll read the comics or something and check it out that way. But that was one, I was hoping would be better because Valiant was hoping to launch their cinematic universe with this. Maybe they aren't now, especially since this hit right when I think we all went into quarantine and stuff like that. And Vin Diesel was also kind of doing what Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool, where he was like, I want to be this character stuff. So I was like, well, okay, we'll see. This could work. But I guess it did not.
Oh, I listened to an episode of How Did This Get Made and an episode of The Flophouse, and the special guest for this episode of The Flophouse was Griffin Newman, who did enjoy the movie. So at least you have his good word.
There you go. Let's see. Next up is Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
Live action Mulan. I guessed 71. Melissa, you guessed 72.
Pointless. Why did we do that? There's no game.
Because the tomato meter says 73.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah. So point to man, you are dominating.
Wow. And like I said, these scores are all news to me. I've heard people say that like Mulan wasn't as culturally successful in how accurate it was aiming to be. Yeah. I had nobody told me about like what anybody said about it outside of that from just like this is how the plot is. This is it structurally, artistically.
Right for that.
Yeah. It's actually
that seems like it was fine.
Yeah, that's more positive than all of these angry YouTube video thumbnails would have led me to believe. So, nice.
Don't believe the YouTube algorithms. Not good. Okay, next up we got New Mutants, which finally came out recently.
I told you about this.
You saw this one, right?
Yeah, I watched this just a couple weeks ago. I think New Mutants is solid enough. It is definitely messy, but it has some charms to it. And I rated this a 60. This was my guess. If I was to personally rate it, I might bump that up to like a 75. I think it was decent enough. So let's see what the tomatoes say.
Just about to ask you, like, now that you've seen this one, would you change your score? So you said you would bump that up to a 70.
I enjoyed watching it, and I can see myself watching it a couple more times in the future. Not very much, but I feel like this is a movie I could see 3 or 4 times across my entire lifespan, which ain't bad.
That works.
Yeah.
That works. So I rated this one a 65. So we were both in the same ballpark, but not as close as we were for Mulan. And let's see. The tomato meter says 33.
It doesn't deserve that.
So,
it's been bugging me that people have been treating this movie like an F. It's a solid C. It ain't great, but it's not a failure.
I don't know. I've heard some not great things that it's just it's not worth it. Don't go.
It is worth it. If you rent New Mutants and you don't like it, I'll pay for it.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. So let's see. The next 3, we are punting to the next one. That's No Time to Die, Black Widow, and Spiral. But after that, Scoob. Scoob is the next one. We covered that on the Reactor Core.
Yeah. Scoob was cute.
Go check out one of our other podcasts where we did a recap / review / spoiler cast thing. Those things that we do for the Reactor Core, whatever those things might be.
Mm-hmm.
So I said 62. Melissa, you said 65.
Yeah.
Let's see what the tomato meter says. Scoob from 2020 with an exclamation mark.
Scoob!
Exclamation mark, yeah. The tomato meter says 48. So I finally get a second point. Catching up. Here we go.
I'd say
I think there's no way for me to win, even if I get all the remaining 3. I've already lost.
Well,
right. Scoob 48. I would rate it higher than that.
Slightly higher, yeah.
I think what we rated it was maybe better.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's 65 is about maybe where I would put the thing now.
If I had to compare them, I think New Mutants is better than Scoob. It's more consistent than Scoob. Scoob kind of jumps all over the place.
Yeah.
For all its shortcomings, New Mutants at least like takes a couple things and sticks with it for the entire running time of the film.
You go, Scoob. Man. Good stuff. Okay. Next up, Artemis Fowl. This is the one I know we are both like. Let's see what they thought of this.
How did a normal human being discover and find this film?
Because you and I have been waiting for that film for like 20-something years in the making. We saw it. We also covered this one on the Reactor Core, and I think we both kind of agreed it wasn't great. It was fine.
Yeah, it has some charming moments. It has some cool visuals, but it is also very messy.
Yeah, and if you haven't read the books, I
can't see this making any sense to just a layperson.
Yeah, none whatsoever. So I thought it would be a 53. Melissa, you thought it would be a 50.
Straight down the middle. I could not tell.
Yeah, so let's see what the tomato meter says. And it says... says no consensus yet? Is this the right one? But
who's not done watching and reviewing this film? This came out in May.
Wow. Tomato meter says NA, not available.
What? what happened?
They just didn't. I get, because wasn't this one of the first ones that went to a streaming service? Like, wasn't it? Because it went to Disney Plus.
Yeah,
so this didn't get a theatrical release.
But it's in the same boat as Mulan.
But I thought Mulan got one.
No.
No?
I mean, maybe it did in another country, but domestically, no, it didn't.
Interesting. Let me see. Does
Rotten Tomatoes like not review like streaming movies? Like you couldn't look up The Irishman or something? Like people review all kinds of movies regardless of where they come out at. Enough people should have reviewed Artemis Fowl that there's a score. I don't know why it's non-existent. Is whatever tomato official in charge of like pulling the numbers for these? Did this just fall off of their report list? Did they fail to turn in the TPS report on Artemis Fowl? This is just a post-it note on some guy's desk. Run the numbers on Artemis Fowl eventually, and he keeps forgetting to do it. And he's like, I'm at my 40 hours. I got to go home. Sorry, Artemis Fowl. And he's been doing this since May.
Interesting. Yeah, so I don't know why Mulan got a score, but Artemis Fowl just straight up didn't get one.
Is there an audience score?
No.
Is there anything?
It says not available yet.
What? Not available yet? What is holding it back?
Melissa, you need to sign in to your Rotten Tomatoes account and go give your score to
yeah, we have to do it. Yeah, but then we were close enough. Like neither of us would skew it towards the other person's direction in either way.
I say that one's just a draw. Yeah, I would just fairies, write down score exist. Not available. I don't know.
For this poor movie, it's stuck in development hell for almost 20 years. The movie comes out. It's a stitched together patchwork mess. We want to at least see what the number is on Rotten Tomatoes. It has none. The world has washed its hands of this movie.
Oh man,
what is this curse? Who cursed Artemis Fowl?
Harry Potter and the curse of Artemis Fowl. Wow. Wow. I wonder if now I have to like find out, are there other movies on Rotten Tomatoes that don't have scores?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, is there
Tweet at
stuff
me.
on there? Like, can you read things? It's just that nothing is quantified.
Blank. Yeah, they have an official page, but they don't have a picture for the like movie poster. There's no info about the movie or the cast or crew. Yeah, there's nothing. It's just blank.
Okay. Do you want to leave this blank, or do you want to make this a special asterisk where we go to like the IMDb rating?
I'm fine with a special asterisk.
Well, we couldn't calculate it anyway because that's like a 6.1. We graded on a 100. They grade on a 10.
That would be a 61.
Oh, all right. Okay, Mr. Numbers, Professor Math over there.
Right? 23 minus 1 is 22. I knew that one, right?
Okay. So what do you want to do?
Right. Let's see. Artemis.
I want to see at least one number on this film.
Artemis Fowl IMDb. It's blank.
What? No!
I'm kidding. I
thought there was a ghost.
Just like some fairy out there is deleting all of the information about that. That's so funny.
Foley does not
this
want
one
any
did get some
numbers
scores.
On this. What is it?
This one did get some scores based on 21,000 reviews. This got a 4.2, so a 42.
Okay.
Which would mean you get the point on that one.
All right. Number's not a surprise.
All the goddamn points.
The number makes sense. I steal it like I steal.
We were close.
Gold. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Now that we're done with that debacle, go to Tenet. Where are you, Tenet? So you saw this one in a drive-in movie theater.
Yep.
I still haven't seen this one. I guessed this one would be a 94. You said this one would be a 95.
Another close race.
Where did it go? Here. No, I don't want to recommend those. Oh, wow. This got a 71. Interesting. I got that.
No.
I was expecting that to be a lot better. A lot higher up. Okay.
I don't know how to talk about that number without talking more details about the movie than I imagine you want to hear.
Yeah, I don't want it spoiled because I still want to see the movie.
Yes.
But that also doesn't inspire confidence in the movie.
A 71 is fine.
It's again, it's good. It's fine. But I think
any
was
number
expecting
above
a lot more.
I think any number above like 17 is completely watchable.
Okay. Yeah, so that one got a 71. Man, okay. Next up, Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Have not seen this one.
Bill
I've heard
Ted Face the Music.
I've heard it's fun, but I don't know much more than that. And like, of course, it would be fun. Fun how? Quantify the fun.
I guessed 72. You guessed 67. Tomato meter says 82.
Oh, that's good to hear.
There you go, which means I got that point. Hell yeah. And then, of course, we skipped over a bunch of other ones in the midst there. So that is all of the movies that we had on our list that came out in 2020. And, but yeah, so Melissa, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 points.
Although we also made special other predictions that were not about Rotten Tomatoes scores. Now, some of these were about, let's see, your other predictions, other miscellaneous predictions were In No Time to Die, Rami Malek is playing a revamped version of Dr. No, and Bond will die. Can't judge on that. You said Venom 2 will make $1 billion worldwide and outperform the first Venom. Can't judge on that. New Mutants will have an MCU continuity Easter egg. I don't believe that it did. It had some neat Easter eggs to other parts of the X-Men universe, but unless there's something pretty buried in there that I just haven't seen the right breakdown video pointing it out with a red circle and an arrow, I don't think it did.
Interesting.
You said Onward will gross more than Soul, which it defaults to now. But I don't think things like these don't count. We're just going to nullify.
Disney is doing the like premium thing for it, right? Where you have to pay $30 to
Or
watch
I thought
it.
that one was open.
I don't know.
I don't know. But even then, like I don't think those are comparable metrics. I think we just have to call that one an egg.
Null and void.
It's none.
Yeah.
It's zero. It's moot. And then you also said that a sequel or spinoff to the movie Spiral would be announced before the end of the year.
Spiral off.
Again, that's also being punted to the next year. So you have one X, one moot point, and 3 we gotta wait till next year's. My guesses were that Natasha is telling her story of Black Widow to Gamora while they're both hanging out inside the Soul Stone. Don't know yet.
Let me tell you about Black Widow.
I did say New Mutants will outperform Dark Phoenix in both ratings and box office gross. Box office gross, no. Will you look up, please, the Rotten Tomatoes score for Dark Phoenix? Because I don't know what it is. I did not look it up at the time of making that prediction.
Dark Phoenix 2019. Tomato meter says 22.
That's half right.
Half right. There you go. Good for you.
Okay, so I've got 1 extra point, not that it matters. I said No Time to Die will be the new worldwide highest grossing Bond movie. Don't know yet. I said Tenet would be the best reviewed movie of the list. It was not. It was kind of hanging out there in the middle. Best reviewed movie of the list was The Invisible Man.
Interesting. I would have never guessed that.
Right. Followed pretty closely by Onward.
Yeah.
Huh.
Good for Invisible Man.
A
movie that one could argue that no one saw coming because it's The Invisible Man.
I also predicted movies I would cry at. I said that I would cry at Black Widow. Don't know. Scoob. I didn't. Artemis Fowl. I didn't. And Wonder Woman and Ghostbusters, which have yet to be seen. I might cry at Wonder Woman surely because it is new content. So I don't know if that will end up counting either way.
A cry is a cry. Whether it's
a cry is a
tears
cry.
Of joy or
if I like
otherwise.
If I like slice my hand while opening a snack package, it will also count.
While sitting there watching. Oh, God. Dang it, and like a single tear, right? There you go. I don't really know how to score those extra like predictions or bets or.
I think maybe those are just for fun. Maybe we'll use those for like tiebreakers in the future.
Hey,
yeah,
I'm fine with that. So, is this a pizza bet? Is this what you won? Did you win a free pizza from me?
We did say we did not officially decide what the terms of the bet would be, but we both agreed that pizza was likely.
I'm fine to buy you a pizza.
Okay, tell you what.
You want.
You buy me a pizza for the retrospective episode.
Okay, sure.
Because I know you were talking about that anyway. Hey, wouldn't it be fun if like we all had a pizza?
Yeah, that's good. I'm down with that.
And the bet stands for next year. I will owe you a pizza if you are the one who wins.
Indeed.
We're just going to be trading pizzas back and forth for a long time. This is our terms for every game that we play. It's a pizza.
I'm fine with that. That's a great.
It's not a
bet.
problem. I'm sure Domino's is also a fan of the concept.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the stuff that we have from 2021. Again, we have 24 movies this time, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. So half of them I should have known that because I said there were 12 of them that got moved to this year.
Yeah, yes, yes.
There are 12 of them that we already have predictions for. However, I guess we can change them if we want to.
I'm opting not to change any of mine, but let's go ahead and read them again. You know,
sure.
People
we'll
may
be
interested.
All of that stuff. Do you want to read all of those now, or just go down the list that we have them? Because I have them in chronological.
Yeah, let's just do them as we hit them in time.
Cool. Well, first up, coming out December 17th, 2020, is Death on the Nile. This is the sequel to the Hercule Poirot. What's the name? Death on a Train? No.
Kenneth Branagh's Death on a Train.
What's it called again? I really can't remember.
Murder on the Orient Express.
See, I was right. Death on a Train. Murder on the Orient Express. I'm looking forward to this one. Again, I don't know how they're releasing this one. I haven't really heard much. Or if it got moved or not. I think I checked on most of these, but I don't think I checked on this one. But Death on the Nile. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with a 75.
Okay. So we watched Murder on the Orient Express. I enjoyed it. It's a nice, warm background noise movie, but I know it was not well regarded, so I lowballed this. I also, thinking about Kenneth Branagh's directorial efforts on Artemis Fowl.
Oh, yeah, he did that one too.
Yeah, but in all fairness, that was a script that had probably been through like a bunch of different screenwriters and producers and production companies and other directors maybe. Like, I'm sure it was an oddball patchwork quilt before it got to him.
Probably was like, hey, Disney, let me do this one movie that I really, really want to do, and in return, I will finally get this Artemis Fowl movie
will
just
do it.
Out the door. Yeah.
And to be fair, I think his visual flourishes in that movie are some of the more enjoyable bits. Just what he does with like camera and setting. I lowballed it. I said 41. 41 for Death on the Nile.
I'll stick with my 75, but I think I might be very high on that one then.
I imagine I personally would enjoy it a 75 in my own heart. Yeah, like these are not representative of my own feelings. This is just me guessing at a critical body I don't know.
I gotcha. Okay, so next up is Wonder Woman 1984, coming out on December 25th of 2020. I'm excited for that one. I gave this one an 88. Melissa, you gave this one an 84.
Yeah. No real reason.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's one of the ones that we had punted to this year. After that is another one that we moved to this year, which is Soul, Pixar's next movie. That's coming out December 25th, 2020. I put in 80 for that one.
I gave it an 87. And like I said, I'm not going to change any of these. I'm going to keep them frozen in time. But considering that Onward came out with an 88, that seems about fair.
Yeah. I think I saw someone who got like an early preview of it or something, and they said it was phenomenal.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So, yeah, I might have lost that one.
I'm always on the side of a high number. If a movie exceeds my expectations, I am glad. Even if I rate it higher than the critical body as in a New Mutants scenario, I stand by my beliefs. Even when I call something mediocre, it is a joyful mediocre. I embrace it with open, welcoming arms as a mediocre. That's okay.
True
All are welcome.
Indeed. Next up is our first movie from 2021. I actually didn't find any that I was really excited about for January. So the first one on February 12th is The King's Man, which is also one that we punted. This, I think, is the trequel. How do you like the sequel to the sequel? It's the third one in the trilogy.
It's a prequel, though. It is the third one
that's right.
in the series, but it's going back to like World War I or II, I think.
You're right. I remember that.
I have not seen any of the Kingsmen yet. And in the original episode where we gave our numbers, I said, I'm going to pitch that to you. And I didn't get around to doing it this year.
Never did it. So I gave that in 81.
I gave it a 70, a little lower because I have no idea what pedigree we're dealing with here.
Yeah, so there's that one. After that, let's get spooky. We got Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out March 5th. I gave that one a 69. Nice.
I was I was a little bit more confident and I gave it an 81.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I know there's high hopes for that one, but that's why I think I kind of went low on that. High hopes, a lot of pressure. Who knows if they will actually live up to what they're trying to do with that. But here we go. We got another one that we haven't had yet. Tomb Raider 2 coming out March 19th. Video game movies are always iffy. I don't think there's been like a real good one yet, but I know Tomb Raider did okay.
The standard has to be Sonic. Is Sonic the highest Rotten Tomatoes rated video game movie, like based on a pre-existing video game property and not a video game themed original movie such as Wreck-It Ralph?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I doubt Sonic is. I don't know.
What's better than Sonic?
I don't know. We'll have to go look that up at the end of this here. But for Tomb Raider 2, I'm going to give this one a... 67.
Okay. I do not know a single thing about any Tomb Raider. I know that her name is Lara Croft, and that's the end. That's everything I know.
She does.
She raids a tomb.
There you go.
I know she has previously been played by Angelina Jolie, played now by Alicia Vikander, who I enjoy. Since I have nothing to go on here, I lowballed it and I said 29. No disrespect to Miss Vikander.
Interesting, going real low on that one. Okay, next up we got Morbius, the Living Vampire. This is a Marvel Comics movie done by Sony, since they own the rights to all the Spider-Man stuff. And he's more commonly a Spider-Man villain. I think this is starring Jared Leto, right?
Jared Leto, Jared Harris, a two Jared film.
That's right, double Jared film. That's coming out March 19th. I gave that one a 78.
I gave it a 72.
Okay. And then finally, the next one on April 2nd, James Bond 007, No Time to Die. I gave that one an 81.
My hopes are high. I've given it a 93.
Go. Yeah, I'm hoping that's good. I still have to watch all of the Daniel Craig James Bond films before it comes out. So I've seen the first two. But that's
They're halfway there.
And it was a long time ago. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Next up in 2021, coming out on April 23rd, A Quiet Place 2. Quiet Place Part 2. Oh man, I don't know.
I imagine you didn't see the first one because you don't like
No,
scary things.
not a big scary movie fan. I'm gonna, well, because that one did really well though, right?
Yes.
Because John Krasinski did everything in that, right? I think he wrote it and acted in it and
He
directed
directed it.
right?
He did at least some of the writing. I don't know if it was 100% of the writing, and he does star against his wife, Emily Blunt.
Her cousin Sarah Cigarette. I'm gonna give that one a 71. It wasn't that funny.
What did I give this one? I gave this a 74. I did thoroughly. Well, it's such a tense movie. I don't know if enjoy is the proper word for it, but I thoroughly appreciated and respected the first one. I'm just wondering if maybe it will have less of an effect returning to the premise. Yeah, I give it a 74, but that's not to be taken pessimistically.
I really respect John Krasinski trying to get out of that gym role, right? He does the Jack Ryan show,
and he's gone to the gym.
Yeah, left the gym, went to the gym, got cast in Jack Ryan. But yeah, like he's doing horror stuff, he's doing action stuff. Like we're thinking, like, hey, Mr. Fantastic would be an interesting thing for him to do.
He's not enough of a nerd for me to be a Mr. Fantastic. If he was cast in the role, I certainly would be glad to see him, but I want a gawkier, dorkier man.
See, I don't. Yeah, I think he could do it though.
He could.
That's the thing. I think he's a better actor than a lot of people realize, and to see him in that role, I think. I mean, he still has an upward battle because everyone is just like, that's Jim from The Office. So if he can really like transform himself into something, then he'll knock it out. But
I know, I believe in his abilities. I do. I would accept him. Yes, I don't have a better idea.
Who knows? Speaking of Marvel, let's go to Black Widow, which is coming out May 7th. And man, I lowballed that one. I stand by my score. I think I will love it.
Yeah.
We also did find out today that Florence Pugh's character, is that how you say her name?
It is Pugh.
Florence Pugh. Her character is joining the Hawkeye show on Disney Plus. So
intriguing.
But I gave that one a 79 because I think when we made this, we were still coming off of like, oh, Endgame just happened. Like Marvel fatigue is maybe kind of setting in. I know a lot of people are hopping off the Marvel ship. So we'll see. 79.
I gave it a 90.
Oh, yeah. I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be more in that 90 range, but we'll see. Next up, Battle of the Kaiju. We got Godzilla versus Kong. Coming out on May 21st. Are you raising up your arms in excitement, or is that
I'm stretching, but I am also, okay. I suppose, pretending to be tall.
You're like, big lizard boy, yeah.
I'm gonna reach up and pet him.
That is coming out May 21st. I'm gonna go a real low 33 on that one.
I went with a slightly higher 60. I think people will. I don't think this will do super well, but I think critics will get what it is, and not look for an awful lot out of it.
I don't know. Now that I'm starting to think more in a critic's mind. They want movies that's about like sitting around sipping tea, discussing life and philosophy and
No,
stuff like
I
that.
think
They don't
not.
want just like action
No.
figures banging against each other.
No, I think there's a great number of critics that do come to the movie on its own terms. And nobody's going to
want
come to
cinema.
Godzilla versus Kong expecting My Dinner with Andre. Although if it was
cinema,
My Dinner
Melissa?
with Andre, if this was Godzilla and Kong sitting down at a table eating buses or something for an hour and a half, I'm all for it.
Okay.
Have
You said you gave that one a 60?
I gave
right?
it a 60. Have you seen any of these new Godzilla or Kong movies?
No, I want to because the second one is done by. Oh, and I'm blanking on his name right now. I should know this, but it's the guy that directed Neon Genesis Evangelion, one of my favorite mecha animes. And so I want to dive more into his stuff, and I know he did that second, more recent Godzilla movie. He did the like Shin Godzilla one.
Oh, I was talking about these Western ones, like the Bryan Cranston Godzilla.
Yeah, it's the
Godzilla
sequel to that one.
Okay, you're calling it Shin Godzilla.
Is it King of Monsters? That is
Godzilla King of Monsters. You called it Shin Godzilla, and I was worried we were talking about two concurrent branches of Godzilla.
Yeah. Let's see. Godzilla King of Monsters. Oh, so there is a more recent Shin Godzilla one. Is that right? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I suppose so. I'm just I'm only tracking these Western ones at the moment. I saw Kong Skull Island. That had some interesting bits. John C. Reilly is quite good in it.
Ooh, Melissa, you froze on me and got really robot-y.
I don't know what to heckin' do about that, Kyle. Am I back?
Yeah, I think you're back now.
I've never been anywhere.
Yes, you're back here. Okay. Do you mind repeating what you were saying there?
It wasn't important. I'm just saying that I saw Kong Skull Island once. Some parts were interesting, and John C. Reilly is in it. This is all the information I had to send out, and the internet could not handle that. John C. Reilly, too strong.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Okay, next up, Spiral from the Book of Saw, coming out May 21st. This was an interesting one that I don't think anyone really saw coming. No pun intended. Right? And it just like it's Chris Rock who's starring in this one, right?
Yeah, Chris Rock wrote and is starring in a Saw spin-off movie.
Wow. Oh, okay.
He's at least partially written it, I believe.
I'm vaguely interested in this just because Chris Rock is in this and he's in a dramatic role, like a more serious role, right? And it does seem to focus more on like a detective story. I think he's a detective. Like, I'm not sure how much. I'm sure it is because it's the Saw franchise, but I don't know how much of it is actually gonna be like, let's play a game. Cut off your arm or cut off her arm. You decide. Go. Huh. I don't know how much it's gonna be, but I lowballed that one. I said 66.
I gave this an 88. Oh, I have faith in Chris Rock, and this is such an odd career choice to make. And I'm like, you wouldn't be here unless the premise was very strong.
I mean, yeah. Or, I mean, because you said he also wrote this one, so maybe he thinks he has something, but maybe doesn't. Who knows? Anyways.
This is an Emperor's New Clothes situation.
Right. Well, let's speed on to the next one, F9, which is coming out May 28th. That's the 9th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise.
So many.
And this was one that we had on our list last year. Yeah, I think they said there were going to be 11 of them, which is wild.
Why
I don't know
11?
Why 11? Who knows? But that's, I think, what they said. So, I gave that in 83.
Oh, what did I give it? I gave it a 66. I've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie. I have wanted to. It's just quite an undertaking to watch 8 films, and I haven't done it yet.
It sure is, yeah. There you go. Fast and the Furious, man. What a wild franchise. Okay, Cruella, which is the next installments for the Disney live action fit. Well, no, because this one is the Disney one?
It is, yes. And it's not a remake. It's kind of like Maleficent, right, in that it is inventing a origin story for one of its villains. Yeah, I remember hearing about this on a Disney podcast a while ago. I think it's from the director of I, Tonya, I believe, and I think it stars Emma Stone as a young Cruella de Vil in a...
I can see that, yeah.
Right? Seems solid. As a young Cruella de Vil, and I think like the 1980s. Ooh. Against like the 80s like fashion and glamour and punk scene.
Physical.
That is aesthetic excites me.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Good stuff. I'm gonna go low on this one too. I'm gonna say 62.
I said a 68. Seems fun.
Okay. Next up, Jurassic World Dominion, coming out June 11th, 2021. Oh man, I don't know how the other Jurassic World ones did. I'm gonna go 54.
I went with a 44 because I think these movies aren't very highly regarded. I'll say this: I've gone to see both of them in theaters. They're a fun theater experience. I've never had any desire to watch them again at home. If somebody said, "Hey, do you want to watch one of these with me?" I would certainly agree. But I don't have any of my own drive to say I'm gonna watch Jurassic World again. On my couch. But I do want to say, because I feel like I'm the only person that has this opinion, maybe. I know neither of them are that well regarded. The second one was a lot more fun for me than the first one, and everybody else thinks that the first one was the more fun one.
Because that's what I heard too, that the first one was decent, and then the second one was just like, all right, what is this?
The second one, part of it is a little girl sneaking around a mansion, and I think Toby Jones is in it.
I don't know who Toby Jones is.
That's Armin Zola.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know who Toby Jones is.
You're learning.
Yay for learning.
Showed me for more the character actor flashcards.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Next one is Venom, Let There Be Carnage, coming out June 25th. This is one we had punted to the next year. I gave this one a 64.
I gave it an 83. I'm optimistic about this.
I still haven't seen that first one. So
and again, for like the third or fourth time, I'm going to tell you that you should see it.
And I'm going to sit there and still just be like, okay, one day I will.
Maybe the year before, maybe 2 years ago, I think, Jack and I had a holiday double feature. We made Boozy Hot Chocolate, and we watched Venom and the live-action Grinch next to each other. And that is a weirdly complimentary pair. Because of this, I always think about Venom around the holidays.
Oh, man. He doesn't like bells though, so all the Christmas
this
bells
is true.
would bother him. He doesn't like big sounds. Okay, but moving on. Next one, Top Gun Maverick. This was another one we had kicked to 2021. That's coming out July 2nd. I gave this one a 62.
I gave this a 79. Seems like it will impress people from a technical standpoint.
Sure. Oh. Is Tom Cruise supposed to be in this one, or is it like a side character
No, it's
thing?
Still him. He is Maverick. He's back as Maverick.
Tom Cruise as the Maverick.
And if this has some of the same flavor as the last couple Mission Impossible movies have had, should be a good time.
Yeah, true indeed. Okay, here we go. Back to Marvel. We got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings set to release on July 9th.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think this is going to surprise people. I'm going to give this one an 88.
Ooh, okay. I had it at an 82 when I pre-wrote these. I'll bump that up slightly to like an 84.
Definitely gonna be like more like a kung fu martial arts film. I don't know when this is going to be set. What if this is set in the 70s? Who knows? I actually don't know if they've released a plot synopsis stuff yet.
I don't think they would set it that far back, because then any other characters they introduce would be like 70 years old now.
Well, I'm just thinking of the whole like blaxploitation style,
sure,
like, kung fu film. Something like that might be neat. But yeah, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I think, will surprise.
No, it looks like a lot of fun. It's sort of unusual, so I don't know if people will get it very much.
But okay, next up, Space Jam: A New Legacy, which is coming out. Yeah, which is coming out July 16th. What a generic
subtitle! There's no pun in that to either Looney Tunes or space or basketball. That's
or Michael
just
Jordan.
Right. That's just like
LeBron James.
That's like a generic subtitle for any reboot or sequel. That's just like it comes with when you're writing a sequel in like a script writing program. It's like maybe suggest A New Legacy as the subtitle. Like Script Clippy comes out.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, Script Clippy.
I think this is going to be a very generic film, and I'm going to give this one a 38.
What did I put down? 37.
Oh man. Okay, so we're neck and neck there. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be a good movie. I think it's gonna be kind of like that Lego Star Wars holiday special where it's like, oh, it's fun to see all of them there, but besides that, there's nothing to it, you know? Okay, Uncharted. Melissa, do you know what this one is?
His name is Nathan Drake, and he's like an Indiana Jones?
Yeah, it's basically Indiana Jones, but video games.
Yes.
It is a video game franchise. It's a great series. And yeah, for the longest time, people wanted Nathan Fillion to play the main character because he's kind of that type of character.
Nathan's for Nathans.
Right, yeah. But this movie has been in production for so long that Mark Wahlberg went from playing the main character of Nathan Drake to now playing the side character of Sully, who is the like surly, the surly older gentleman, like sidekick guy who has a cigar and like a Hawaiian shirt with the wife beater, right? And he's just like, I don't know why I still do this thing, but one last job. All right, here we go. You know?
That's graceful of him to accept that recasting.
Right, yeah. And we now have Tom Holland starring as a
Tommy.
young Nathan Drake.
Tom, year after year.
Yeah. So I kind of have high hopes for this one. I think I'm going to give this one a 75.
I gave it a 63 just because I don't have much to go off of.
Yeah. I'm kind of inflating my score of like my personal, like, I want this to do good. Please give us a good video game movie, because all they have to do is Indiana Jones.
Right.
And it's good. Like, do a good one of those things, and you can have a new Indiana Jones for a new generation that also know how to play video games.
Yeah.
Moving on, though, Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
The definitive article. The definitive Suicide Squad, if you will. Oh man, I think this one is going to end up being great. I'm gonna give this one a 92.
Ooh, I think it's also going to do very well, audience wise, but I don't know what kind of critical reception it's going to get. I'm gonna say like an 87. Still also very high.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one. Oh boy. Coming out October 1st, we have Dune. The new Dune remake. So I have no idea what this movie is about, what this book is about. I know it's some sci-fi thing. I want to read the book this year because the movie is coming out, and it's directed by Villanueva. Is that how you say his name? The same guy who did the Blade.
Danny Villeneuve?
That one. The guy who did the new Blade Runner.
Ah, yes.
And Arrival, I think?
Yeah. Yes. This all sounds correct. I watched the trailer for Dune. It looked very pretty. It's incomprehensible to me, which is not a fault of it. I know it is a sensible adaptation of a very complex novel that I think I just don't click with. I don't speak Dune at all.
But I want to. That's why I'm just like, I want to go see this. I want to read the book finally, because I've heard so much about it. It's been adapted like 3 or 4 times already, right? So
I this is a time to mention the HBO Max deal for 2021, where every movie that Warner Brothers is releasing in theaters, for the first 31 days, it will concurrently be available on HBO Max also.
Correct, yeah.
Which I think is a good balance between...
At no extra
right, yeah, it's just going to be out there like regular.
Good for them.
Yeah, which I think is a fine balance between we're going to try and put business in theaters and give you the same opportunity to watch this at home if that's where your comfort zone is. Hopefully this works out okay for both parties. But I'm now thrilled to have the concept of I can watch Dune in my apartment as loud and as boozy as I want to.
Yeah,
because I want to see this thing, but I don't want to have to take it seriously.
That would be great. Considering his other movies, I'm going to score this one high as well. I'm going to give this one an 89.
I wrote down 87 for this also before I adjusted Suicide Squad a little bit. I think this is going to do... I imagine people may have a similar reaction to me where I trust this is very good. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be like. It's critically really high, but like average audience score is going to be like, I have no idea what the fuck this thing was. Okay, moving on. The last one that we have to fill in scores for the first time, Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Coming out October 15th. This is the sequel to the kind of Halloween sequel / reboot.
You've got it correct, Kyle. Yes. Yeah. So there was the original Halloween, there were a number of sequels, some of which directly follow the first Halloween, some of which didn't. This is a movie that circles back and is a direct sequel to the first Halloween. So it is kind of rebooting the franchise, but is a direct narrative continuation of the events that happened in that movie, just in current times.
Wait, isn't this the sequel to the one that came out like 2 years ago?
Yes. That's the one that did it. Yeah. So the Halloween from 2 years ago is like the next narrative step beyond the Halloween from like 1979. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's pretty good. I had a lot of fun watching this one.
That's what I heard. I heard this did well. So I'm going to give this one let me go 76.
Okay. I'm going to give this 78.
Okay. And then last but not least is one that got punted from this year, Eternals, coming out November 5th. This is another Marvel film that I think would have been out by now. Had it not, I mean, both that and Black Widow would have been out this year. So, man. But I had predicted that one was going to be an 88 last year.
I've got aspirations for this one, and I have it as a 92.
There you go. Okay, so that's all of our movies for 2021 for this next cycle here.
Do you have any of these other side predictions? Because I wrote a couple of them.
Let me hear yours first.
So I've decided to no longer do anything that involves a gross, now that the year has taught us how unreliable these things may be.
Yeah.
So mine are more based on like ratings and plot ingredients.
Sure.
So I'm going to guess that The Suicide Squad will include a reference to a previous failed DC movie, not counting Suicide Squad itself. Because, you know, at the end of Guardians of the there's that cameo from Howard the Duck.
Oh, yeah.
I am predicting there will be the equivalent of something like that, but for the DC universe.
You know, it would be amazing to have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Oh, that would be great. See, this is like kind of what I'm thinking of. Like, there's going to be like a suit with nipples on it, or somebody's going to like, or like,
yeah,
the Peacemaker has like a Peacemaker credit card, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
According to my numbers, No Time to Die is the best reviewed movie. So this is the prediction I am sticking with. Out of all these movies we're covering, the best reviewed one will be No Time to Die.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to make a similar prediction on that. I'm going to say best reviewed ends up going to... Yeah, I think I have to go with Dune.
Okay.
Best reviewed movie will be Dune. Dune.
It's not what your numbers say, though. Because you wrote down 90.
I gave Dune in 89 and I gave Suicide Squad in 92. I'm not sticking with that. Like, oh, that's going to be the best reviewed one.
Oh,
I just think that's what.
This is an outside kind of a competing bet. Okay, all right. I also predict that in either Morbius or Venom 2, we will meet a new member of the Sinister Six. Now, I'm not talking about somebody we've seen before, like the Scorpion or like the Electro, where it's like, oh, we don't have solid evidence yet, but we've got hints that that guy's going to be this guy. No, we're going to meet an entirely new person, either a new character or a character who has appeared innocuous before is going to start leaning towards being a member of the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would agree to that.
And I'm also going to start my new annual tradition. I'm going to predict a song that I think may be played in one of the movies over the next year.
Okay.
I believe that one of these movies might include the needle drop "Man Eater" by Hall & Oates.
Okay, that's a good one.
I could
I
see this
could see
coming up
that. I could see
in
that
Wonder
in
Woman,
Suicide Squad.
in Cruella, in the
King
Suicide
Shark.
Squad. Right, yeah.
Man.
Heck, this could be in Halloween Kills. I
Yeah.
did
Oh
Venom,
yeah.
Let There Be Carnage. There's lots of movies where there may be a metaphorical, heck, or literal man-eater.
Yeah,
Putting
like
the
a
dollars
slower,
on man-eater.
creepier version in Spiral, right? That like you don't recognize that that's the song first
Ah,
at first, and then all of a sudden like, oh, it's Maneater.
we've got a female It's Jigsaw's sister, the villain of the whole thing.
Jigsawus.
Jigsaw's Jill Saw.
Jigsaw. Oh God, please no. Okay, I'm gonna go with, let's see, of the 3 Marvel movies, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and Black Widow, uh I think, ooh man, I think Shang-Chi is going to have the best like Easter egg. The
Okay.
like
Well,
end credits, like the equivalent of the end credit scene. I don't know if they're still gonna do them, but like that's gonna have the one that like of those 3 is like,
okay.
holy shit, that one.
Okay, and we're talking about specifically the post-credit scene, not any other form of Easter egg that could be in the movie. Because I feel like if we just say best Easter egg, that's very subjective.
Sure,
But,
yeah.
okay, if we narrow it down to
Shang-Chi,
best post-credit sequence, I think that's a little bit more specific. I will accept that as a bet.
Sequence. I spelled sequence wrong. How do you spell sequence? Sequence. I guess that was right. Did I spell that right? I don't know. 3 Marvel films. Here we go. Okay. You have any more of them?
Um.
Oh, how many do you have total?
I have 4. How many do you have?
I have 2 written down right now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because we're not carrying over our other one. I guess we are, but we're not.
I'm carrying over the ones that are still have yet to be proven, like whether or not No Time to Die will be the new worldwide highest grossing Bond movie, which now seems unlikely, but I'll keep it on there.
Okay, I'm gonna say Godzilla versus Kong. There will at least be a mention of King Ghidorah.
Okay.
I don't know if they've already done him
which
in
one
the
is
movies or not. He's the like
King...
3-headed dragon looking one.
Ah, yes. King
Ghidorah will be mentioned.
So there's, I know him. I know Mothra. I know the Turtle Man.
Metal Garurumon.
Yeah, I know Metal Garurumon. I know Clifford the Big Red Dog. I know the baby from Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. All the famous kaijus.
Okay, let's see here. Do I have another one? And
Rodan. Rodan's another 3-headed dragon. No, it is 1 head.
God, who do I want to predict will die in Suicide Squad?
Most of them will, so it's a pretty safe bet. Predict. I don't want to tell you how to do your job. Predict who you think will live.
Yeah, I could do that one. I might hold off on that one because I actually there's so many of them that I just like I don't even know who's all in this film.
Yeah, you won't be. You'll totally forget about Polka Dot Man.
Right? Yeah. Oh man, goodness gracious. Okay. Let's go with. Let's Tomb Raider. I want to do something for Tomb Raider.
She will raid a famous tomb.
Good one, Melissa. Didn't think of that.
But I will leave that up to you to determine if you want to pick a name of a historical person whose tomb she raids.
What did the first one get?
Like I said, I know nothing about it. I don't even know who was in it besides Alicia Vikander.
Dominic West, Walton Goggins, I think it was his name.
Walton Goggins, wow.
Goggins, yeah. That one.
He is a vodka.
So I predicted that, let's see, Tomb Raider 2 would get a 67. The first one got a 51.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So man, do I want to? No, because I feel like that's a lame prediction then to be like, I feel like Tomb Raider 2 will get a better score because I already have it scored here. Okay, let's not do anything for Tomb Raider. Ooh, you know what? Let's go with, there will be a reference to Blade in Morbius.
Ooh, that is good.
Or like some, like Blade or the Daywalkers or something like that. There. A reference to Blade in Morbius. Go. Yes. Boom. Okay. Because we do know that Mahershala Ali is eventually going to play him.
Blade.
So, interesting stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's my 4.
Hooray!
Best reviewed movie will be Dune. Shang-Chi will have the best post-credit sequence of the 3 Marvel films coming out. King Ghidorah will be mentioned in Godzilla vs. Kong. And there will be a reference to Blade in Morbius.
To recap mine, the Suicide Squad will reference a previous failed DC movie. No Time to Die will be the best reviewed movie on the list. In either Morbius or Venom 2, we will meet a new member of the Sinister Six, and one of these movies will feature the song Man-Eater by Hall & Oates.
There you go. That's a good one. I like that.
I look forward to doing this every year.
That's great. Okay. That's it. That's all we got this year for our Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions. We will be back next week here on the Captain's Log. We are coming to the end of the year. So I think we have, 2 more? I don't remember how many more episodes of this we got.
Yes, we have 2 more episodes.
2 more of the Captain's Log for this year, and then our end of the year retrospective, which will be our 5-year anniversary as the Whatnauts.
Hot beans!
Yeah, hot beans indeed.
Truly a pizza-worthy event.
So congratulations to Melissa for winning our first Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions.
What a weird year to win, but thank you. I played with my heart. I want to thank my coach.
I'd like to thank God and my family. And good stuff. So yeah, be on the lookout for all of that stuff coming up in the coming weeks. But yeah, I guess check back in next December for the results of this here prediction podcast. But yeah, we'll be back next week then with more of the Captain's Log. You guys will get to hear me talk about my nightmare phone call with my parents and technology. It was wild. So yeah, I guess we didn't really do housekeeping yet, so let me get that out of the way real fast. If you did not know, we have multiple podcasts here on the Whatnauts. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. We also have a $3 tier where you guys can get all kinds of exclusive content from all of our shows, not just this specific show. So be on the lookout for more stuff from Crossplay in the future, because that's what we've been working on recently. And shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, so much for supporting us for so long.
Thanks, Sam.
We appreciate it. We hope you are doing well. Yeah, I think that's about it for housekeeping. So Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, where my brother Jams and I watch weird old kids shows. We just put out an episode about Science Court, an old favorite of mine.
Science Court. Ooh. Good stuff.
Edutainment.
Yeah, indeed. You guys can follow me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. You guys want to stay up to date with our shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. Go like, share, subscribe. You guys know the deal with all that stuff. Go follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/thewhatnauts. And go subscribe to our Twitch channel.
Yeah.
which is twitch.tv/thewhatnauts. Last I checked, we were at 42 followers. We're hoping to make it to 50, which is one of the requirements that we need to make affiliate.
42 followers, approximately the same score as Artemis Fowl.
There you go. We are right now just as good as Artemis Fowl. So I think we do better than that. So let's bump that number up. We're hoping to get to 50 soon here. So yeah, go follow us there.
Yeah, we would like to be closer to a Sonic.
Yes. Please. We'd like to go fast.
Yeah, gotta go fast.
Well, that's it. That wraps us up for episode 122 of the Captain's Log. We will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.